What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Three Geeks conversation. I am joined he is from the best show of 2025. Actually, the best thing I watched in 2025. Welcome to Derry. Tom Mitchell joins us today. How are you, sir? Hopefully you're staying warm.
Yeah, I'm very well. Thank you. Up here in Toronto, we've had the biggest snow event apparently in recorded history. The greatest one-day accumulation. So the city is kind of come to a stop, and there's a lot of snow to dig out. So,
how much did you guys get?
Well, the drifts are 4.5 feet, probably at least 2 feet, solid, at least 2 feet that we got in one day. Quite an accumulation. And we're here in a big city. There's nowhere to put it. I mean, it's not like there's nowhere to put it. There's cars everywhere. There's we're all living on postage stamps. So logistically, it's going to be a bit of a challenge moving forward. But wait, my fridge is full, and there's lots of telly to watch. So I'll just hunker down and get comfortable.
Yeah. There you go.
That's right. So what made you want to be an actor?
Well, I grew up in the business. My mother is an actress of some renown, spent over 20 seasons at the Stratford Festival in Stratford, the Shakespearean Festival. So I grew up in the business, going on tour with my mom as a youngster, 8, 9, 10 years old, going to New York and Philadelphia and all kinds of theaters around Canada, Calgary, out east. And frankly, I grew up playing sports. I was a swimmer and a football player. And then it wasn't until I got to university that I thought, hey, I'll take a drama course. It'd be an easy credit. It's something I have some experience with. And well, then the next thing you know, I got bit by the bug and I haven't looked back since. So I decided that I wasn't going to pursue football. I was going to become an actor, and I studied drama at university, and then I moved out to Vancouver right after I graduated, and worked out there for the first 4 years of my career. So,
wow.
Yeah,
the theater will get you. It'll hook you to it.
Indeed, and the collaborative nature of being with people and the infinity of being able to create. The great thing about a stage production is you can make discoveries every day and then have an opportunity to go back and try it that night. You could be standing in the checkout line at the grocery store running the play over in your head, and then you're like, oh my goodness, a line reading will pop into your head that finally it makes sense, and then you can go out and try it that night. Film and TV, of course, is much different. You have to have your bag of tricks ready. You have to have done the preparation, and you don't really get as much opportunity to perhaps flesh things out, and you don't have an opportunity to go back and try something, not typically.
Yeah.
So it's a different discipline, and you have to kind of be ready to throw things away too. You do your part, you do the scene the best way that you think you can, and you have to essentially be satisfied with that, because in 2 days' time, when all of a sudden it pops into your head and the algorithm actually finally clicks, and you go, oh my goodness, I could have done it better. I could have done it differently, or I could have done something that may have served the purpose of the scene better. But that's a rarity. Hopefully, for the most part, you're ready to go and you've got your opportunity. And that's also what a director is for. He knows what he wants.
Right.
He knows where he wants things to cut together, and the tone that he wants to achieve. So that helps enormously as well. Yeah.
Well, do you remember what your first audition process was like? What was that journey like getting there?
Well, I do remember reading. I did some theater at the Stratford Festival as a young kid, and David Williams, who is a legendary director at the Stratford Festival. I was 11 years old, and I read for Romeo and Juliet to play a page, and he got me to come up on stage and admit to doing something bad, and I had to cry, and so he put me through my paces. I was very inexperienced, probably prone to some drama in my own regard, so I was able to pull it off and got the part. So that was, I was a youngster at that point. when I was in Vancouver, my very first audition as a professional was for a television show called Neon Rider. It was a show about some troubled youths, and I was playing a bit of a thug. And I booked that. I went in for the audition, and my agent called me and said, "Hey, first time lucky, you booked the part." So
Gotta love that. That's good for the
yeah,
confidence. Like,
indeed. And also, certain parts you just kind of fit into fairly effortlessly. It,
yeah.
doesn't require a lot of excavation necessarily, but it's just like a pair of comfortable shoes that you can put on and away you go, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So you were in one of my favorite comedies, and it's probably not the one you're thinking of. Another Stakeout. What was that experience like working on that film?
I will tell you, when I heard that, Jason, that really, I thought, oh my goodness, there's a sequel that flew under the radar. It's a very long time ago, but I can remember instances of it so clearly. I was just finishing up my time in Vancouver. I'd been out there for almost 4 years, and it was before Christmas. And hey, you've got an audition for another Stakeout, big American feature. And I thought, okay. So I remember driving out to Burnaby in the pouring rain. It was dark. I got out there. I went into a big, massive room. I remember reading something and then walking out kind of going, well, I don't think I'm going to get that part. And several months went by. By this time, I had already moved back to Toronto from Vancouver, and I got a really pleasant surprise one chilly February afternoon from my agent saying, hey, you got to get back out to Vancouver. You just booked this gig for another Stakeout, playing a detective. And it was going to be about a month's work. So they flew me out for a week just to have a read through and a wardrobe fitting. I got to meet Rosie O'Donnell and Kathy Moriarty. And I mean, boy, when you think of the cast from that project, I mean, you had Dennis Farina, Richard Dreyfuss, Emilio Estevez, Jose Ferrer, my God, like it was just Kathy Moriarty, Marcia Strassman, just a phenomenal cast, and it was a really great gig. I was a young actor, and funnily enough, we were filming. This is going back a long way, so I'm kind of drawing the memory banks here, but we were filming on an island. So every morning I'd get picked up, the days I was filming, and get taken to a helipad, and then jump in a helicopter, like a big corporate Bell helicopter with Rosie O'Donnell and Kathy Moriarty or whoever it might be that morning, Richard Dreyfuss maybe, and then this 20-minute flight out to some remote location out on the islands, and then film all day, and then take a helicopter.
That's so
take
crazy.
a helicopter home. I mean, it was really, really an exceptional experience. I also remember Rosie O'Donnell coming up to me in the read-through. She was wearing overalls and a ball cap on sideways, and she was so cheery. She just went, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Rosie O'Donnell." And and everyone was so warm. I mean, Dennis Farina, big star, retired cop, played some real hard-boiled type characters. And you couldn't have asked for a more warm and engaging fella to spend time with. Just really exceptional people. One day, the helicopter pilot, we had a bit of time to kill, and instead of just taking us on a direct flight, he went up above the mountaintops and took us for a little cruise above, by Squamish and the Sea to Sky Highway, and just checking out the mountain range, and just one of those moments you have to pinch yourself and say, hey, my goodness, I mean,
this is really happening. This is life right now.
This is pretty good. This is pretty good. Also, when I was out there, that year was 93, and booking another Stakeout was the catalyst for what was a rather good year for me. I also did a film that summer called Dieppe, which was a CBC war film, a miniseries. And I did another film that summer called PCU.
Another good one.
So if you like your comedies, and each project kind of overlapped or rolled into the other. And so it was a really great year to be busy as a young actor. And another Stakeout certainly got things, off to a great start.
Had you seen the original?
I don't think I had seen the original, to be honest. When that came out, I was at university.
Mhm.
I know that it was incredibly popular. I think at some point had probably rented the VHS. It was before even DVD came out, so I probably had rented the VHS and checked it out. Funnily enough, of course, that was also shot in Vancouver, and a lot of the people that were in the film became friends of mine. People that were in the film and got a chance to work and spend time with them as well. So it's funny because I'm a fan too. So to get in a space and like, oh my goodness, I saw you. Oh my God, you were in this, and then we're all just regular people, right?
Right.
But the warmth and the openness of a lot of the performers that I've been lucky enough to spend time with, always, it's remarkable. Some people can be very, very, veteran actors and just, oh, here's the young guy coming in and, let's make life easy for him or make them feel welcome. That was one of those sets. Everyone was just so kind and decent. Yeah.
That makes it feel good. It's a project you remember. It's not when you're like, I don't want to talk about that. That was a miserable experience.
Yeah. And it wasn't without its challenges. We would go to this island and we'd be there all day and maybe we didn't get used that day. So there was a lot of time spent around kibitzing and chatting and getting to know each other. Of course, John Badham, Hollywood legend, directing this film. And there was one scene where there's the shootout is on the go now. And we had to come running out, the actor that played my partner, Blue Man Kuma, and the two of us had to come out and engage in this firefight. And then somebody yells from inside, and I'm supposed to turn a certain way. Now we're losing the light. I'm supposed to turn a certain way because that's where the camera is. And then we didn't get a lot of opportunities to do this shot. And when we did it, instinctively, I turned the wrong way. I was, oh man, I hope I didn't ruin that shot. And I was like, could we go again? And I could tell that Mr. Badham was just a little disappointed that he didn't get it exactly the way he wanted it, right? So, but hey, it worked out. I mean, just to show you, it's not always gravy. You're not always walking away thinking, hey, I did a great job. There was that day I walked away thinking, damn it, I kind of screwed up and I wish we could go again, but we couldn't. Like I said, we were losing the light and it was a big setup and just one little thing, Just one little thing can make a difference in getting it right and getting it wrong. But I think overall it was pretty good. Pretty good.
That's a good thing. So, welcome to Derry. It's probably arguably the best show of 2025. What was that process like for you to obtain that role and how, how was it on set?
Funnily enough, there were a lot of synchronicities that took place. Coming out of COVID was a pretty difficult time. I've been very lucky working here in Toronto. It's a nucleus of film and television. The industry is massive here in this city. It's a great city. It's my home. And to be able to continue to work in it is amazing. That being said, it was a bit of a downturn. Like I said, we were coming out of COVID. I was working out at a buddy of mine. He builds log homes. And so I was out there doing some pretty heavy, hard work, right? Skinning logs and, just heavy, hard work and the driving snow. And I'm thinking, man, something's got to come. Something's coming down the pipe. I can feel it. And funnily enough, I get this audition to read for the working title at that point was called Fairview. Okay. It wasn't called Welcome to Derry. It was called Fairview. Well, what's the name of the town that I'm actually working in, my little part-time job outside of my hometown of Stratford? Fairview.
Fairview.
Oh my God, like what is happening here, right? Like,
There's your
okay,
sign immediately.
right. I got the dialogue, and it was a military fella, and it was very wordy, but it didn't seem difficult. It, maybe challenging, but it didn't seem difficult. It all had a cadence and a rhythm to it, and it just felt so natural. Funnily enough, the piece that I had to audition for was the very first scene that you see me in, where I'm in the Jeep. I meet Captain Russo, Major Hanlon, welcome to Derry. We jump in the Jeep and we're driving around. That was the scene, one of the scenes that I had to prepare for my audition. So like anything, it's a self-tape these days. So you lay it down, you send it out, you hope that it's going to land somewhere. And within a couple of weeks, I'd gotten a call back to read for the casting director, Stephanie Gorin, who's been a champion of my career here in Toronto. And so she liked that. She worked with me a little bit. And then within a few days, I was reading for Andy, and on a Zoom. And I have to admit, the It world and Pennywise and a lot of that wasn't really on my radar. I wasn't really familiar with the material to that point. And luckily for me, I mean, it was fairly dry. I'm playing a military guy. There wasn't a lot of indication at that point, where it was going to land. Anyway, so I did the Zoom audition with Andy. It was like on a Friday afternoon. And I just remember thinking, I think I got a really good shot at this, and that went really, really well. Andy is just an amazing fella, really positive, really warm. I just remember doing the audition and thinking, and there was an enormous amount of dialogue, and it just went. I had it. I mean, I had done the prep work, and I was ready. And when it came time to deliver, I was afforded the opportunity to do so. And so that was great. I had a really good rapport with him, and I think probably within a couple of weeks, my agent called me and said, I think this is going to happen, and it did happen. And it was just, I went out to the log home yard. Sorry, boys, I booked a massive gig, and looks like I'm going to be
done with this logging.
Yeah. And they look at Danny and those boys. They've been super supportive, and I'd been working with him since 2019, off and on, going out there and helping out. So they understood. They said, "Hey, man, this is your deal. This is what you're all about, and we're happy for you." So
that's good.
Yeah, just it was great. They're a man down, but they didn't mind. They had it covered. And when I was out there, I was working hard, and now they knew that I was being given an incredible opportunity. So yeah, which it was absolutely.
How many times did your jaw drop as you're reading the scripts?
Wow. So funnily enough, it was interesting because. Well, we're shooting out a sequence, but boy, did we ever have some hurdles to overcome. We started, I think we went to camera on the 3rd or 4th of May was one of my first days. And then the 5th of May was the writer's strike.
Oh, my goodness.
So everyone was rather nervous about that. And I remember, talking to Jason and Brian and the producers and Barb, and we were, hey, well, we've got enough episodes written that, we should be okay. And okay, great. So then we went along for another couple of months, and then the actor strike happened, which shut everything down. So we had, I think at that point we were working 1, 2, and episodes 3. And I had read the other scripts, But when we came back from the layoff, which was about 6 or 7 months of work stoppage, the scripts had changed a bit. And, there's a funny little thing there because I had some great passages in one of the scripts, and I think it was episode 7, and everything was changing back and forth. I could be getting it wrong, but I remember opening up the script to episode 7 and kind of going, okay, where's that piece again? What? Get to the end of the script, and I'm like, what happened to that speech? So I saw Andy on the set. We're, in between setups, and I said, hey, Andy, you know that dagger? You know the dagger that features really prominently in the story? And he's like, yeah. And I said, Andy, is that the same dagger that they used to cut out my dialogue and 2/3 of my heart and soul? And so we had a little chuckle about that. And, I think he tried to assuage it turns out that when it came back to do some reshoots, well, what was back was that speech. They brought the speech back. I guess they figured they couldn't quite get along without it. And, it was a little different. But I was grateful for the opportunity. And like I said, it was, the scripts were kind of a moving, target.
Yeah.
And I really I gotta say, because of the strike, the writer's strike and the actor's strike and the work stoppage, I was really amazed at how everything came back together. Okay, we've got this thing up and running. It's great, and we're doing great work, and then bam, everything shuts down, and you just take all your toys and kind of shove them in the closet, and then time goes by. Well, the kids are getting older, the kids are getting bigger. Maybe there's an actor that's got a new project on the go. There was a lot of logistic elements that had to come back when we came back ready to film again. And I was in awe because nobody skipped a beat. We were all ready to get right back at it, get right back into the swing of it. Sorry, Jason, I don't know if I answered your question there. I might have gone the long way around the barn, but yeah, the scripts were awesome. I mean, it just, and I gotta say, it was a little hard to kind of keep track sometimes, especially when we're shooting out a sequence, which, when you've got a director like Andy, he's so clear about what he needs in his head, and he is so on top of the material that he's able to help us if we're a little bit out of our element. He's able to help us. So I could show up every day and confidently go, listen, if I'm not quite getting it, I know Andy's going to steer me in the right direction, right? So there were a couple of times where maybe, and I used this expression a few times, where maybe I didn't quite understand the exercise. We're dealing with sci-fi and horror, and maybe not initially, but I think when we got into episode 8 and some of the things that were happening on the ice and the interaction with some of the other characters that was going on, because there was so much happening there, right, with the kids and Pennywise and of course Jovan and Chris Chalk and their characters, and in terms of how I'm relating to them, I needed to, maybe have I needed some help sometimes. There was a point there where after Daniel had been shot, and I remember I wanted to kneel down and I wanted to have an emotional connection to the scene, because throughout the whole thing, I'd just been some hard-boiled colonel. And right. It was amazing because I'm feeling all this energy from these incredible actors that are around me. And I just wanted to somehow be able to have a connection with them, which really took me away from my character a little bit. So I think maybe that was a choice I was trying to make selfishly,
Yeah.
just because I wanted to have that connection. But at the end of the day, hey, that's not who you are, dude. You're like the face of the military, and they are this impressive, oppressive war machine that clearly has their own agenda, right? So, but I do remember kind of thinking, oh, I'd love to, feel a little more connected. But hey, that was the nature of my character. Was he was a military guy, and he's there to get the job done, and that's what we're here to do, right? So
you did a great job as Colonel Fowler. And before I let you go, I do a podcast with my friend Jamie where we talk television, and Doc is one of our favorite shows, and she will kill me if I don't ask what your experience was like working on an episode of Doc.
Well, funnily enough, and forgive me because I don't mean to be verbose. It's just it's nice to have an opportunity to talk about these things, right? I mean, we're up here grinding away, trying to have a career, and when we get an opportunity to connect the dots and maybe talk about things a little bit, I really appreciate it. So, funnily enough, my very last day on Derry, I think it was a Wednesday or something, and then the very next day, I was on Doc. So I went from wearing military fatigues to wearing a nice suit and playing a detective. It was great. I know Molly Parker from my early days in Vancouver. And so I hadn't seen her for almost 30 years.
Wow.
And once again, stepping onto a set with just absolute pros, everybody being really warm and friendly, and it's got a really interesting premise. She's suffering memory loss, and hey, it was kind of dry. I was playing a detective, and it wasn't like a big emotional arc or anything there required, but it was great to be a part of things and to see Molly again and work with her. I haven't seen the episode. I don't know how it turned out. I think that was the final episode of season 1.
It was great.
Jason, any time, I've had a remarkable career. I feel so grateful, and I've worked with some incredible talents with Helen Mirren and Burt Reynolds, and just some incredible people that I've been able to spend time with on set, and I'd be delighted to chat about that at any time.
Yeah, we would love to have you again. Where can everybody find you online?
Well, I don't really have a big presence. It's Thomas Mitchell. I'm Thomas Mitchell on Facebook. I'm Two Take Tommy on Instagram, which was really just about me riding around on my Harley for the longest time.
Love that.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Weigh in, come on, say hello, be delighted. And it's also, just before we go, like I said, I've been so lucky to have this wonderful career, and some of the things that maybe I have forgotten about are pieces that might mean something to you, or might mean something to one of your viewers or your listeners, and I'm grateful for somebody that's clocking in and saying, "Hey, yeah, I remember that show. Oh my goodness, hey, can you please tell me how this happened, or how was that person to work with?" Or, yeah, I'm an open book, man. So I'm happy to share, because it's been a good run. It's been a good run.
Well, Thomas, we would love to have you on anytime you're available. Everybody, like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll chat with you soon.